Only. Please do not enter the field of play for any reason. As a reminder, BoatTV.com is the exclusive live streaming home of the PWBA Tour, and we ask that you do not live stream from your personal devices. All right, bowling fans, pick out your favorite athlete this afternoon. Please cheer her on. Ladies, arrows are up. You have a full set of pins. How about a great send-up for our athletes on their quest to royalty at the 2019 USBC Queens? Good luck, ladies.
All winners now are on the lanes here at North Rock Lanes in Wichita, Kansas, as the USBC Queens continues. Exclusive coverage of the first major event of the 2019 PWBA Tour season. So hopefully you have found the player that you were looking for, and we'll be able to watch their match. Open up a few tabs. Also have live scoring available for you as well, as we watch Danielle McEwen and Bernice Lim here on 27 and 28, along with Verity Crawley and Caitlin Simpson. Caitlin, the former Pikeville standout and All-American, has performed admirably at the end of either a qualifying block or, as of today, a match play opening match. 273 to get into the number last night. 274 to just sneak by Shannon O'Keefe in her early round match, or in their early round match. And now with the front three here versus Verity Crawley, make it the front four. Players are bowling on the burn. This was a no re-oil. And I mentioned earlier, this is what the winners would be bowling on if the brackets or the matches were not split into left and right. All winners would be moving on after their first round match and bowling on the burn, and that's what we have here. Caitlin Simpson off to a good start here, front five, and quickly becoming the early storylines here. Brandy Branca has gone spare three-bagger. She is facing Laura Plazas from Colombia on 23 and 24. Niue Finn and Almi Guerra on 25 and 26. Zell Poss, Kayla Bandy on 31 and 32. There's some matches that are nearby. And Bernice Lim with a double. Go over some matches for you to recap the 11:30 a.m. Right side of the bracket matches that took place. We'll start at the top with Danielle McEwen. McEwen defeated Lilia Robles 709 to 694. Bernice Lim defeated Leanne Holstenberg 699 to 599. Clara Guerrero defeated Debbie Ayre 686 to 469. Jen Russo defeated Shayna Ung by 2, 604 to 602. Stephanie Johnson defeated Brianna Cote 642 to 559. Carolyn Doran Ballard defeated Missy Parkins 658 to 579. Shannon Pluhowski defeated Ali Tatro 630 to 597. Jennifer King defeated Caroline Lagrange 724 to 677. So that's where we have McEwen versus Lim, Guerrero versus Russo, Stephanie Johnson versus Carolyn Doran Ballard, Pluhowski versus Jen King. Cindy Jane defeated Angie Ramirez 783 to 513. She is facing Erin McCarthy, who defeated Deandra Asbeatty 547 to 501. Natalie Cortez defeated Ileana Lomeli. Natalie advanced to take on Shaolin Zulkifli, who shot 300 in her 724 set versus Juliana Franco. Zulkifli shot 300 in the final game of her set. Kristen Nieder has advanced. She defeated Carrie Smith. She's taking on Esther Chi, who defeated Rebecca Whiting in round number 1. New Wei Finn defeated Anita Arnett. To advance, and she is facing Elmi Guerra, who took care of Shannon Sellens in round number 1. Laura Blazes has started with the front 6. Today's the day where you definitely want live scoring around. Sinley Jane down on 35 and 36 is just continuing to have success so far today. Spare 5-bagger. Again, after opening up round 1 with 783, it was on 27 and 28. Simpson, good shot. I'll tell you, we'll see after these this set of matches. You can start to pick out a couple players that you say, well, they look pretty good early. Good spare for Bernice Lim. She's able to keep things clean. These two players, Lim and McEwen, part of the 2016 Queens telecast, of which Bernice Lim ended up winning. If you recall the show, it was the year of the Rubik's Cube. It became one of the side storylines. Bernice just would come back from a shot, try to solve the puzzle, go back, strike, back to the cube, on the way to the victory over Sandra Anderson of Sweden. Danielle McEwen finished 3rd on that show. Verity Crawley, she joined us yesterday on Bowl TV during the final block of qualifying. Talked about her day, her week, the excitement just to obviously advance to match play and being able to bowl against an opponent and just kind of lock in on that pair of lanes for 3 games. Plazas, by the way, front 7 on 23 and 24. All right, runaway Brooklyn there for Plazas, but leaves something makeable. Looks like she left a 10-pin. Laura had plenty of success on the burn squad this week. She went plus 144 on the burn, so keep that in mind. So far good bowling across both pairs. No opens for either player. And of course, I've been prone to jinx folks this week, so Hopefully we won't see any opens anytime soon, but good bowling across the way here so far. McEwen. And touch light there, 7-pin for Danielle. Contenders bracket matches will take place at 4 p.m. Central Time. Again, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern on this wonderful Sunday. If it is indeed Sunday where you might be. We've had several viewers from Australia this week. It is already Monday. On that portion of our world. How about that? Isn't that cool when you just, it's literally a different day somewhere else. But I think we can all watch Bowl TV at the same time. I mean, that's crazy. Simpson. And that time the 10 won't go after the open. And the 8th, of course. It happened. I jinxed it. Open frame in the 10th for Shannon Pluhowski. And she shoots 224 in a match versus Jennifer King. Well, Jen King can step up and get to 238 and take an early lead. She can do that anyway with a mark. Team Singapore. Advanced 5 of their 6 players this week. Daphne Tan qualified 9th. Sherry Tan qualified 12th. Shayna Ung qualified 14th. New Wei Finn qualified 34th. And Bernice Lim qualified 35th. Missing the number this week was Jazrael Tan. Almiguera gives some pins back. Open in the 10th frame. After a 7-bagger to shoot 232. All right, Danielle able to get the 10 out. We had a few high scores, high 3-game totals in some of our first round matches. The way some things were beginning to go, it looked like maybe that wasn't going to be the case. We wouldn't see too many high scores, but that's why these players are the best at what they do. Big double for D-Mac. D-Mac's going to have a quick chat with her one of her ball reps. She can get to 226. Crawley can get to 217. And Crawley tried something on the fill. 216 for Verity. D-Mac gave a different ball a look also. 226 for McEwen. Bernice Lim can throw 3 in the 10th to get to 225, and we would be looking at a 1-pin match then. And just like that, the old 1-2-4-10 for Bernice Lim. $199 for Lim to start, so did not end certainly the way Bernice would have liked. Missed an opportunity for a couple extra pins, but it's a 27-pin advantage for McEwen after 1, and it will be a 10-pin advantage for Caitlin Simpson after 1, as she shoots 226. Quickly into game 2. The players have been bowling pretty quickly throughout. Even on the burn, you can see players still, for the most part, still playing out, except for Way, who I can just see in our general viewing vicinity. Way is in around 4th arrow at this point. And tough angle, but I think Laura Plazas might be in that area as well. A bit of a low-scoring match with, let's see, Diana Zavyalova and Dasha Kovalova. DZ can get to 180 with a spare here. Kovalova is in the books with 167. Plazas came out the gate shooting 268. And a 50-pin advantage for Laura Early versus Brandy Branca. Thank all of you for subscribing to Bowl TV. Also, thanks for your feedback. Mistake there for Simpson in the second. It's a no count on the 2-8-10. And an early three-backer here for McEwen. For Danielle, who just continues to improve and is already one of the best in the world. No ceiling here for Danielle as far as how good she can still be. Already a four-time winner on the PWBA Tour. She has won a title in every season since its return. And a major champion, won the Tour Championship in 2015. Open here in the third for Lamb with McEwen already off to the three-bagger. So Bernice is going to stop this run here and get on a run of her own. More Plazas looks pretty locked in. Nice spare for Guerra. She makes the 210. Calming from the Dominican Republic. I'm curious to know which matches everyone in the chat believes that are the the ones for them. Which matches are you guys watching as Lim having some trouble here? 1, 2, 4, 10 on 28. Comes over to the left lane and leaves a 2A10. And now back-to-back splits for Caitlin Simpson. And she's got the Greek Church to deal with. Let's see, 11 and 14, or 11 through 14, 15 and 18. Okay. Kim's watching Stephanie Johnson and Carolyn Doran Ballard, Lindsay Boomershine and Sherry Tan, Josie Barnes and Andrea Petraglia, and Clara Godetto and Jennifer Russo. Matches there as well. James is watching Cam's so 2, I'm assuming it's 11 through 14. Then he's down on 31 and 34. Okay. Yeah, that's a good one too. Giselle's got the front 4 at the moment. McEwen after the open, right back to business in frame number 5. All right, let's see if Lim can find something here. That's a start. She's able to get to the 1-3. And I think some transitions certainly in the mix here. Again, on the burn. Almy slapping it out. Again, Almy had to shoot plus 173 just to make the cut. And I'm talking about the qualifying cut. Get in the top 64. And she could walk out of this building today undefeated, potentially. That's what's on the line when you look at the bracket. Winners of these matches today will return tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. We mentioned earlier, sometimes you just need to see him go down. And some positive notes right there. You saw a little friction also on that shot from Lim. She was able to drip a 4-pin. Folks, I'm not sure if you are keeping up with Lee or Cindy Jane, but I mean, she just continues to throw strikes at a significant pace. I'm sure, obviously, she can only hope that if she is to advance today, that they'll look the same tomorrow, which probably won't be the case because that's just not how things tend to work when you lay down a pattern continuously over and over again. But at least for today, she's very tough to beat. And Erin McCarthy is going to shoot 240 here in game number 2. Daphne Tan has started with the front 5 down on 39 and 40. She's taken on Valerie Mercier. Good match with Maria Jose Rodriguez and Liz Colkin. Chelsea Barnes is on a 6-bagger. Clara Guerrero has the front 6 versus Jennifer Russo. Barnes is taking on Andrea Petraglia. Again, if you're curious about the contenders matches that are already set and you need to just look at it at the bracket, don't forget when you look at the bracket, you see the winner's bracket up top, but it's all one file. So you must scroll down to see the contenders bracket. So the losers of the respective winners matches that we have right now during this round will hit the lanes this evening. About 20 minutes after the first round of contenders matches concludes. And they begin at 4 p.m. again this afternoon. Lee Jane is going to be in the 270s. And that match, if you're curious, her match with Erin McCarthy is on 35 and 36. Lee Jane shoots 279. She turns the corner with 537. She just shot 783. I mean, my goodness. She made this show back in 2016. Giselle Poss, her dad, flew in late last night, I believe, and had a little bit of trouble getting in. Talked about weather yesterday, and there was a ton of it around or in Wichita and its surrounding areas. And Bernice here struggling. 98 in the 7th as she awaits her teammate to the left, Wei Finn. Enters your screen there, left side. And Wei leaves the 10-pin. That match was close after 1. And that's with Almi opening in the 10th. If she can find a way to throw a couple, speaking of Gerda, in the 10th frame, she can create some distance here between her and Wei. And another trip 4. This time the 9 goes with it. for a limb as well. For those wondering, Clara Guerrero still striking. She's got the front 7. Again, taking on Jen Russo. If you recall last year, Clara was looking pretty strong when, very well could have made a run to the television show, but was succumbed to a back injury on Monday morning. Or was it Monday? Was it a Monday last year? I don't remember which day the show was on. But the final day of match play, she had a back injury, woke up with a back injury, and talking about gutting it out. She finished the tournament. Bowled her winner's bracket match, lost, and then bowled her contender's bracket match. Ended up missing a week of competition and was never quite the same, but made some changes back to full health. So keep your eyes on Clara this week. Live from North Rock Lanes in Wichita, Kansas. I want to thank our earlier guests, Summer Jasmine and Shannon O'Keefe. We'll hope to have a few more for you throughout the day. The next major of the 2019 PWBA Tour season is the U.S. Women's Open. That will take place in Las Vegas, Nevada on June 16th, and it will run through the 23rd. The live TV finals on CBS Sports Network will commence. You can watch all the competition throughout the week, including qualifying and match play, and the pre-tournament qualifier as well on Bowl TV. So be sure you're tuned in, subscribed, and ready to roll when June 16th rolls around. That'll be a quick turnaround. It'll actually be the quickest turnaround that I've experienced since participating on this tour in regards to when the next event is. After the conclusion of one, there's generally a couple of days for us to, whether it's to the home, obviously, in the office, and, get a little laundry done. That's definitely going to be a week of, the entire staff might be at the laundromat after the Fountain Valley Open, leading right into the U.S. Women's Open. We'll just pool our quarters together. Bernice on the hunt here for some answers. She's got it looking down, certainly looking back at the concourse and talking with the reps a little bit, and may try something here. And I would certainly assume she is going to try at least a ball or something different from a lane play perspective. Barring any splits here from Danielle, she has been in the 1-3 throughout. It's simply a carry scenario for DMAC at the moment. We talked earlier about the risk-reward situation, what your opponent's doing. Danielle can get to 245. Best, of course, Lim can do here is get to 157. And that's going to be a significant swing in the total score here. Verity Crawley. She'll take care of the 2-pin in the 8th. Caitlin Simpson has yet to strike here in game number 2. Lim tries something, 153. She's left a couple of washouts this game as well, so now DMAC with an opportunity to really extend this lead. All 3 in the 10th would give DMAC a 119-pin lead. Crawley with a strike in the 9th. She shot 216 in game 1. First one, late 9-pin, but it goes. Brandy Branca shot 258 and is making Plazas work here. That's a good match. You want to check that out on 23 and 24. That looks to be now a 6-pin lead for Brandy Branca. 486 to 480 at the moment on 23 and 24. Gierna leading New Way Finn. Currently by 56 pins. That's on 25 and 26. Down on the low end, and many of you already watching these matches, Stephanie Johnson and Carolyn Dorn-Ballard. That's a nice battle. Battle of Texans as well. 32 pins the advantage for Stephanie Johnson as they head to game number 3. Clara leads Jen Russo by 53 pins as they head to game 3. Daphne Tan has a 157 pin lead. That seems odd. There must be a typo. Over Valerie Bercier. So Valerie struggling here on the burn. A couple of matches already into a few frames, in fact, into game number 3. One of them is Shannon Pluhowski, but of course she's the fastest player on tour. .234 for McEwen. But 108 pins is the difference here on 27 and 28. Caitlin Simpson able to find a double to get to 162, and that was a much needed double. Crawley still with 2:15 left. That would give her a 43 pin advantage. Plazas has got a very nice support section. Part of them certainly from the Wichita area. She was a former Shocker. Other players representing countries in near Central America. Sorry about that. Laura from Colombia, represents Colombia in international competition. Another early double for McEwen. She has gotten off to great starts. Fast starts, generally good starts. And match play. .194 for Verity and Caitlin Simpson. We know what she likes to do and can do in final game situations. Trailing by 22. I see we got some really impressive bandwidth connections out in the chat. Giselle Poss and Kayla Bandy. Poss with a sizable advantage through a few frames in game number 3. Pulhowski and Jennifer King, as King just threw a 3-bagger. Let's see, the match total might be there. Well, Jen King was trailing, but she's staring 279 potentially in the face. We'll see how it goes. That's on 33 and 34. Bernice Lim. Looks like she's got the right ball in her hands now. Let's see if she can make D-Mac here work hard, maybe force a mistake potentially. And somehow find a way to potentially pull off this match here. Way has started with the front 4. As Almiguera is going strike spare double. Good shot for McEwen, but she wraps a 10. Low scoring, Kovalova leads Zavyalova 373 to 338 after 2. That's a 35 pin advantage for Dasha. The Branca Plazas matchup is really close. And they've thrown a ton of strikes, so that one's moving very swiftly. Lee Jane Sin just said, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and just strike a lot so I can go ahead and get some food. She'll be in the 240s after turning the corner with 537 after her first 2 games. Definitely the tough draw for a couple of opponents for Lee Jane Sin today. 783 round 1, 781 in round 2. Lee Jane will advance. She defeats Erin McCarthy. Erin will participate in the contenders matches that will take place the round after the 4 o'clock round. Another 1-2-4-10 for Bernice Lim, unable to convert. And another open for Bernice, the 2016 Queens champion. Kayla Bandy not going anywhere, 4-bagger in her match versus Giselle Poss. Randy, Branca, and Laura Plazas continue to go back and forth with strikes. Again, 4 p.m. is when the contenders matches will begin. 4 p.m. It'll be on the fresh. We'll do a break for the re-oil. From an archived events perspective, there is a separate playlist entitled USBC Queens Match Play. So that is where you'll be able to find any match play archived events. I think your eyes will immediately tomorrow go to what's Lee Jane's look, what's it looking like? Because if it looks anything like today, it could be a relatively short day of work for her, because 783, 781. Not much more you can do. Pluhowski and Jen King coming down to the 10th frame on 33 and 34. McEwen double, spare double. And looking to advance here to the next round, which would be tomorrow. Fans have made their way in. They've been here for a while, actually. We started a bit later today. Of course, it's the weekend for those who had some time early on to come in and stop by. A couple great fans who I met last year, or excuse me, 2 seasons ago in Lincoln. They made the trip from Kansas City. Again, Brandy Branca beat Liz Johnson this morning with 64, defeating the 1. Pluhowski is in the books with 678. Which means Jen King already with enough. To advance and a strike for good measure. Oh, looked at the wrong score. That is Shannon Pluhowski with more than enough to advance over Jen King. My apologies to Jen's family. My bad. If Jeremy is watching. Best shot of the match there for Crawley in the 5th frame. Oh, and nearly a pocket 7-10 for Almy. Over on 25 and 26. Bernice Lim, left lane. She's had a bit more success here. This is one of those situations where you find what you're looking for just a touch too late. Someone say lay off, and it did, to the sound of 10 back for Verity. Well, D-Mac had full command of the 1-3 in this match. Bernice Lim struggled with ball reaction. And McEwen will be one of a few who will be undefeated after round 1. Well, after a couple of opens for Kayla Bandy, she has thrown the back 8, but Giselle Poss has answered really each time. Strike, spare, 3-bagger, spare, 3-bagger for Poss. All right, Way still in the mix in her match versus Almy Guerra. That's on 25 and 26. Crawley and Simpson, after Caitlin struggled to find strikes. She found a couple late in game 2 and has 5 to show for here, but sandwiched within a couple of opens. Crawley on a 4-backer makes it 5. Giselle Poss will be moving on. Kayla Bandy shoots 655, got lined up. But again, Poss was right there to answer the challenge. A late opening situation here between Plazas and Branca. How about 6 in a row for Crawley? Yep. That open from Plazas would ultimately be the difference if she is to lose this match with Brandy Branca. The left lane became the friend of Limp. She struck 4 out of 5 times after making the ball change. Nice finish for Giselle Paus, 726 to 655. And Paus, who has shot the only 300 of the week, is 2-0. Oh, yeah. That I called right here on 29 and 30. Shaolin Zulkifli. What a week. Yesterday still has me all messed up. Paul shot the first 300 of the week. It's shot from Simpson in the 9th. Way with a strike. So Way can perform here in the 10th. One more to Lance, Danielle McEwen. It's another day at the office for Danielle. Looks like we got a ton of matches already complete on the high end. Daphne 10 has advanced 692 to 480 over Valerie Bercier. Liz Colkin defeats Maria Jose Rodriguez 660 to 632. Wow, and there it is. Speaking of 300s, Clara Guerrero, the third 300 of the week, second of the day. Way will come up short after needing a double there in the 10th. She falls by 5, 659 to 654. And Almi Guerra, after sneaking in the match play, doing what she had to do, has won 2 matches. And will be back with us tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Well, I mentioned to keep your eye on Clara. 753 to 594. Again, 2 300s today. Shaolin Zulkifli, part of a 724 series earlier in round 1. That was in game 3 of her set. Clara also shoots 300 game 3 of her set. Brandy Branca, 721 to Plaza 691. The open in the 9th proved to be the difference for Laura Plaza. So those who snuck into the number have won, a couple have won 2 matches today. Branca, the 64th seed, has won 2 matches. Gerda, the 63rd seed, has won 2 matches. Josie Barnes defeats Andrea Petraglia, 659 to 643. Stephanie Johnson will advance, defeating Carolyn Doran Ballard. Match still ongoing. Dasha Kovalova and Diana Zavyalova. Crawley has defeated Caitlin Simpson 654 to 578. No more matches on the high end. Lindsay Boomershine still, let's see, where is Boomershine? That one's still close. You can check that one out on 13 and 14. It will be channel 11 through 14. So before we wrap things up here, again, just want to see the official tallies of the last two matches. To get you prepared for the contenders round that will take place in about an hour and 15 minutes. We'll have Liz Johnson. Let's see, Liz Johnson versus Tanya Robimper. Katie Ann Saab-Schroeder versus Rebecca Martin. These are contenders matches that will take place at 4 p.m. today. Jen Higgins versus Haley Richard. Brittany Brown, versus Estefania Cobo. Lauren Pate versus Caitlin Johnson. Nice shot there for Kovalova, first one in the 10th. Kelly Kulik versus Shannon O'Keefe. I'm sure many will be tuned in for that. Stephanie Schwartz versus Heather DeRico. Jasmine Mason versus Jordan Richard. Lilia Robles versus Leanne Holsenberg. Ali Tatro versus Caroline Lagrange. We'll have that match, as well as Debbie Ayers and Shayna Ung. Brianna Cote versus Missy Parkin. Angie Ramirez versus Deandra Asbeatty. Anita Arnett versus Shannon Sellens. Ileana Lomeli versus Juliana Franco. And Carrie Smith versus Rebecca Whiting. All right, Kovalova can get to 225. Boomershine struggled in game 3. She can only get to 182. 224 for Kovalova. It's a double from Dosh. Will advance her in the bracket. Winners again. Moving on to face each other. Let's see. We'll have Branka versus Kovalova. Daphne Tan versus Liz Culkin. Giselle Poss will face either Lindsay Boomershine or Sherry Tan. Josie Barnes will face Verity Crawley. Almiera will face, I don't know who won between Kristen Nieder and Esther Chi. Nice round of applause there for Diana Zavyalova. Esther Chia will advance. So she will face Almiera. Shalin Zulkifli. Defeated Natalie Cortez. She will take on, a battle of Team Malaysia there. Lee Jane Sin and Shalin Zulkifli will face off tomorrow morning. Shannon Pluhowski will face Stephanie Johnson, two of the longest tenured members of Team USA. And Danielle McEwen will face Clara Guerrero. All right, one more shot to go. I want to thank Jason Thomas for answering any questions in the chat and also making sure I was correct on my information. Sometimes the producers and stuff, they got to check the talent. Sherry Tan defeats Lindsay Boomershine 657 to 619. That was the final match. And again, 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern. 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern is when the contenders matches will begin. So those who lost the early round winners matches, they will meet and face one another in about an hour and some change. So for Jason Thomas, Aaron Smith, Curtis Von Kruger, our crew to Neil Milligan, Kathy Waka, Greg Moore. My name is Emil Williams Jr. We'll see you back here in just under an hour for our contenders matches, again at 4 p.m. Central, 5 p.m. Eastern Time. This has been a presentation of the 2019 USBC Queens here on Bowl TV.